Hello, I am Gwen Preston of Resource Maven. I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum in September, and I am joined by Craig Parry of Targa Exploration, or at least that's who you're representing right now. You've got a couple companies that you're helping guide along these days.
I do. I think I'm a founder and advisor to Targa Exploration and a
Gotcha.
significant shareholder. Happy to be a significant shareholder.
Okay, so let's talk about why you're happy to be a significant shareholder. Targa is one of the companies, there's a host of them, to be honest, that is doing hard rock lithium exploration in Canada, which is a new thing, despite Patriot Battery Metals being a whopping success. And you know, it's already at a deposit stage, so it seems like that's fairly advanced. Hard rock lithium exploration in Canada is a new thing, right?
Almost totally new.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate to get into Patriot very early. You know, it went from 15 cents to $15. That's the opportunity in front of us. I think there's going to be 20 Patriots in Canada discovered. So you want to be part of that. And of course, you know, they dual listed it in Australia. The Canadian market, for some reason, isn't getting it, doesn't really understand hard rock lithium, and doesn't understand the value proposition of where these things should go. Of course, Patriot, when they listed it on the ASX, dual listed it, it went from $4 or $5 a share to $18 a share in about 2 or 3 months. So Australia gets it. There's been great successes. Just before I moved to Canada, I was asked to join a board of a company called Pilbara Minerals that had a market cap, I think, of about 200 or 300 million at the time. I didn't do it because I didn't have the time coming to Canada. That thing went from 200-300 million. It's now a $20 billion company, top 10 mining company, or $14 billion company, throws off $1.5 billion in cash a year.
Yeah.
Lithium is extraordinary. The opportunity is absolutely extraordinary. And I think, you know, one of the most exciting things I've been involved with in the past 6 months is when people saw that, particularly that James Bay area and Quebec more broadly, had serious lithium potential and $1 billion plus company potential. It was a mad staking rush.
Yes.
So we had, you know, our friend Sean Ryan, legendary prospector, was out there. Zach Flood, who's a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
Steve Blower, one of my business partners and chief geologist of Inventa Group. He was out there in Saskatchewan staking ground. So it was crazy. I just remember talking to the guys from the field, and as we were going through the staking process, the hair stood up on the back of my neck, because you know you're on the verge of something really, really interesting and really crazy. So that was wild. We got some extraordinary ground out of that.
Yeah.
But you know, it's quite clear, particularly to the Aussie guys who've come over here and snaffled projects from under our nose. Corvette should have been, you know,
a Canadian
real Canadian deal.
But it was Aussie geologists who did that.
Yeah, my mates Evan Cranston and Tolga Komova, I think they're up about 400 million between them so far. Extraordinary outcome. So we should have had that. We've staked a bunch of ground, you know, a bunch of other companies. I think there's some extraordinary, quite clear to me that Quebec has the opportunity, and Canada more broadly, to become to lithium what Saudi Arabia is to oil. So that's the rush we've just been through. I don't think it's done yet. I think there are still other projects and things to put your foot on. It's really early days in you know, the next Saudi Arabia for lithium.
In that rush, there was a staking rush, obviously, to get ground. Do you think now that there's a race to become the next discovery? Like, how important in a market reaction angle do you think it is to sort of get out there quickly? Because, I mean, Targa, you guys are pushing ahead as fast as you can. So are others. But What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think, of course, you've got some of those challenges because they're usually in the sort of colder climates, far north reaches. So you've got timing issues. There's been forest fires in Quebec
that stopped everyone.
Yeah, so at Targa, we've only just hit the ground at our Opanaka project. You know, the guys are getting reports from the field today that it's looking really interesting. The rocks are right, probably better than they expected type of thing. Have we got spodumene? As soon as you announce it, that you do have spodumene.
And you can see it. If you know the pegmatites, which are the intrusions, you can see them, you can map them, they stick up out of the ground.
Yes.
And you can, if there's significant spodumene, you can see it.
You can see it. Yeah, a good geologist can pick it straight away. Or with a handheld XRF, that certainly helps.
Yeah.
So you want to be out there now and capturing this boom. I think, look, lithium prices are going to be strong for forever. They've been, you know, outperformed massively, of course. We have So I'd love, like, we've got so much ground, you know, pegged half Canada almost. I think we've got 6 or 7 projects in Quebec, 2 in Ontario, 2 in Manitoba, a bunch of northern Saskatchewan, and even a project over in the Yukon.
Right.
So a hell of a lot of ground. I can't remember the hectares, but it's a vast terrain. We went after samples that had areas around lake sediment samples that were 99th percentile for lithium, cesium, beryllium, and rubidium. So we picked the eyes out of those. So we've got a bunch of good properties based around those higher grade samples. You know, a lot of flying around in helicopters was done by you know, surveys, geological survey of Quebec back in the 70s and 80s. All of our properties have got big areas of mapped pegmatite, great structure. They're in the right rocks. Do they have spodumene on it? That's the exciting thing. So it's early days for us, but you know, things are pointing in the right direction. I'm a bit excited about this one.
Absolutely. You're an exploration geologist. You should be excited about the right rock types, you know, whopping great, very strong lake sediment anomalies, the right kinds of structures. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's fun.
Fun.
Big treasure hunt. We go again.
Well, we look forward to hearing now that the forest fires have ebbed and you can be out there on the ground, what you find in Quebec in the near term. And then, you know, like I said, those other projects in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, places that are still not really being looked at. Targa is a bit unusual in that they're looking in these other places, but they have names like Spodumene Island. I'm excited to see where those lead as well.
Me too.
Thanks so much for being here.
Good on you. Thanks, Gwen.